بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم، وبعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. هذه هي الحلقة 16 لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية للمستوى السادس في قسم الدعوة لطلاب وطالبات الانتساب المطور. وهذه الحلقة كما العادة سوف تبدأ في عن focus on writing page 168 and usually we'll try to focus on some writing styles that you know or you don't know, so try to learn from those styles as much as you can. So on page 168, focus on writing style, sentence variety. So we have here, a very good rule. So try to follow the rules here. Try to learn the rules here in this page and this book. Of course, the more rules you know, of course, the more English you know, the more English you can use. Therefore, try to listen and to, understand all the rules you have in this book, just to make it easy for you to use your English and your, of course, reading, writing, listening and speaking. So style, sentence, variety. Number one, we have focus on writing. Read the following passage. Look at the sentences carefully. How are they similar? How are they different? So we have here very good sentences. Just try to focus on and try to understand the meaning or the differences between them. Murder is totally unfair because the victims of murder are gone forever. Their hopes and plans have ended permanently, and the pleasures they enjoyed in life have been destroyed. They will never see their friends again and will never hear the voices of their parents, brothers and sisters. But the murderer is still alive. If we stop capital punishment, murderers will still be allowed to participate in life. So he said, read the following and look at the sentences carefully. How are they similar and how are they different? So try just to make sure that you have the differences of those sentences. Just to make sure, we'll go to the rule itself here. So the author here said, writers often use different sentence types to make their writing more interesting. The three basic sentence types are, if somebody asks you, what are the three basic sentence types? You should say simple, compound, and complex. So we have three different sentence types. What are they? They are simple sentence, compound sentence, or complex sentence. So what is the difference between simple, compound, and complex sentences? So now we'll just take one by one. They are so easy. Just try to read the definition of each one and try to focus on the example that is given to each one. So for example, a simple sentence includes one subject and one verb. So usually simple sentence includes only one subject and one verb. So example, the victims of murder are gone forever. So the subject here is victims of murder. The verb is are. So now we go to the next one. Another definition of simple sentence. A simple sentence can also include a compound subject. This is a subject with two or more nouns. So their hopes, this is a subject, and plans, this is the second subject, have ended. So this is a verb permanently. So we have subject and verb. We have two subjects here and one verb. We call it a compound subject. We call it a compound subject because there are two subjects, talking about one thing, right? So two subjects and one verb. This is also a simple sentence. This is a simple sentence. So now we know the meaning of a simple sentence, right? So we know the meaning of a simple sentence. So what does, a compound sentence mean? A compound sentence consists of two clauses, subject, verb combinations right? They are often joined with coordinating conjunctions like and, but, or, so. A comma is used before the coordinating conjunction. So let's take some examples here of a compound sentence. I believe in capital punishment, but my sister does not. So this is a compound sentence because we have two sentences are connected by the word but. So I believe in capital punishment, but my sister does not or doesn't. So this is a compound sentence because we have two sentences and we have one connector here. So we have subject verb combinations. They are joined by with coordinated conjunction, which is but, and a comma also used here between the two clauses. So this is a compound sentence. Another example of a compound sentence: you are either in favor of the death penalty or you are against it. So we have here also another two sentences, and this is called a compound sentence because we have you are either in favor of the death penalty. This is one part. Second part is or you are against it. Therefore we have two parts here. Therefore this is a compound sentence. So far we have a simple sentence and we have also a compound sentence. So now you know the difference between the two, right? Let's move now to the third type, which is a complex sentence. A complex sentence includes two clauses, independent and dependent. The independent clause it stands for IC is a complete sentence. It can stand alone. The dependent clause DC begins with a subordinating conjunction like because, if, since, when, although. So the dependent clause is an incomplete sentence. It cannot stand alone. So this is the meaning of complex sentence. This is the meaning of a complex sentence. Therefore, one example of a complex sentence is murder is unfair because the victims of murder are gone forever. So this is the example of a complex sentence, another complex sentence. So one more rule of this complex sentence is a comma is used when the sentence begins with a dependent clause. It is not used when the sentence begins with an independent clause. So this is also usually we have a comma. We use a comma when a sentence begins with a dependent clause. It is not used usually if there is, if the sentence begins with independent clause, so there is no need for the comma. So an example here, if we stop capital punishment, murderers will still be allowed to participate in life, right? So this is a very good rule. You should know the differences between a simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. So we have three types of sentences: simple, compound, and complex. So we have here very good example or exercise, page 169. Exercise page 169. The following sentences describe the life of a death row prisoners named Wayne Paulson. Combine the two sentences into one compound or complex sentence. Use coordinating conjunctions and, but, or, so in compound sentences. Use subordinating conjunctions like because, if, since, when, although in complex sentences. Be sure to use subject pronouns where appropriate. Example: Wayne Paulson reads books in prison. Wayne Paulson sometimes exercises. So we have here Wayne Paulson reads books in prison, or he sometimes exercises. So this is it a complex or is it a compound sentence here? So if you just pay attention, you have or. So or, the word or usually, of course, should go with compound sentence. Therefore, this is a compound sentence. Usually, we try to combine them and make compound sentence or a complex sentence. So this is for number one. Number two, Wayne Paulson. Wayne Paulson was the kind of guy that was never noticed at school. Wayne Paulson wasn't the kind of guy that got into trouble. So if we want to join them, we can say Wayne Paulson was the kind of guy that was never noticed at school, and he was not the kind of guy that got into trouble. So this is another example that we can use and. We can use and here. So so we have number 2, this is number 1. Number 2, the police came to his house and arrested Wayne for murder. B, his life has never been the same. So the word here, since. So we can say, we can join them by using since, and the example say, his life has never been the same because or since the police came to his house and arrested Wayne for murder. So try to do number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 8 as a homework. These are very good exercise, very good rule. So you should practice, and using, of course, those words that are given here, like and, but, or so, because, if, since, and when, and although. So those are very good words, very good connectors. So try to do them, try to use them in your homework, and they are so easy. Just to since they are written here for you, everyone is written for you. Just try to use it one by one and try to make it, to make a compound sentence or a complex sentence, and always remember the differences between simple, compound, and complex sentences. I think the differences are very clear and very easy for everybody. Just try to read it and read more examples there. It will be easy for you and for everybody. So now we'll go to another exercise, which is read the following letter. So this is the remaining of the part. So number 3, page 170. Read the following letter by an American college student taking a criminal justice class. On a separate piece of paper, rewrite the letter to use a variety of sentences, simple, compound, and complex. Make at least 5 changes and change the sentence structure as much as you can. So we have very good example here. Try to do one by one. So read the example and try to use those words and or so, all the conjunctions that you learned, and try to use them and to use them in this letter. And I think this is a very good exercise for everybody, and it's a very easy one. Now we go to page 171. 171, grammar, contrast. Contrast, present perfect and present perfect progressive. Read the following paragraphs taken from Life in Prison is Still Life. Why should a killer live? And why do we kill people? To show that killing people is wrong. There are 2 different verb sentences in bold. How are these tenses similar? How are they different? So we have here very good example. Try to read one by one. Read, the first one. Murder is totally unfair. The victims, of murder are gone forever, right? So their hopes and plans have ended permanently, and the pleasures they enjoyed in life have been destroyed. They will never see their friends again, and will never hear the voices of parents, brothers, and sisters who cry, "How could this have happened?" But the murderer is still alive. Without capital punishment, murderers are allowed to participate in and enjoy life. This is the first example. Second example, or second statement, second paragraph, the U.S. government once followed the example of Germany, Britain, France, and other nations that no longer execute their citizens. However, since 1977, our society has been allowing capital punishment again at a high cost. We cannot imagine the pain of family members who have been waiting for years for the government's decision to execute or not execute their loved ones. It also costs the taxpayers millions of dollars more to execute a criminal than to imprison that criminal for life. Prison is a better form of punishment because it protects society and punishes criminals by taking away their freedom. So we have two statements here. First one, the bolded words were have ended and have happened. Second one, has been allowing and have been waiting. So what is the difference between the two forms here? So we go to page 172, present perfect and present perfect progressive. So these are very good, this is very good rule that we should follow here. So we often, page 172, present perfect and present perfect progressive. So we often use the present perfect to talk about an action that started in the past, continues into the present, and may continue into the future. Example, she has visited him almost every day. Number two, we often use the present perfect to indicate that an action is recently completed. Example, their hopes and plans have ended permanently. Completed action. Number three, we often use the present perfect progressive to show that an action that began in the past is still continuing. Therefore, now we have difference here, right? So number one and two, of course, the present perfect talk about action that started in the past, continues into the present, and may continue into the future. And also the other form, the present perfect, to indicate that an action is recently completed. So this is for present perfect. While, you know, the present perfect progressive, you know, as we read, you know, we often use the present perfect progressive to show that an action that begins is, you know, that action that begins is still continuing, Therefore, the example here for number three, we cannot imagine the pain of family members who have been waiting for years for the government's decision to execute or not execute their loved ones. Continuing action. This is present perfect progressive. Number four, this is example for number three. Number four here, non-action verbs such as be and verbs that refer to mental states or emotions like believe, wish, trust are not used in the present perfect progressive. Example of number four, for most prisoners, life in prison has been difficult. Another example of number four, many prisoners have wished that they could be free. So this is for number four. Number five, you can use the present perfect and present perfect progressive with the time expressions for and since. Both forms are used with the verbs such as always and recently. So here, so sometimes we can use both present perfect or present perfect progressive, you know, with the time expressions for and since. So optional, either one is true. Example, however, since 1977, our society has been allowing capital punishment again. We cannot imagine the pain of family members who have been waiting for years for the government's decision to execute or not execute their loved ones. So this is a very good example. So we have the definitions on the left side, we have examples on the right side. These are very clear. Try to know the differences and try to make sure that you understand the differences between the present perfect and present perfect progressive. Therefore, if you understand the definition, if you understand the differences between them, you can solve the exercises that you have here. So you have exercises here, number page 172. Read the passage which describes the life of prisoner at the present perfect or the present perfect progressive forms of the verbs in the parentheses. So we have like Wayne Paulson, you know, we can say, you know, example number one, Wayne Paulson has been in prison since 1992. So, and for the 3 years, he has been waiting for the government's decision whether or not to execute him. So please try to do the exercise and finish this exercise here. This is very easy exercise. and just try to follow all the exercises here, and this is do it as a homework, number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and this is, I think, very easy exercise for everybody. Try to do it and to understand it and to make sure that you know this exercise very easily. This is the end of this lesson. وكان هذا هو آخر ما في حلقة اليوم، وإلى اللقاء في الحلقة القادمة، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.